Washington state Democrats are certainly on a roll this session, and they are about to make climate change and racism a public health issue. Wait till you hear about today's bill of the day. Hey, everybody, I'm Julie Barrett. I'm the founder of Conservative Ladies of America and Conservative Ladies of Washington, and I am back with another bill of the day. We haven't put out a call to action on this bill yet, but it has already been through committee, had a public hearing, been passed out of committee along party lines. The Republicans all voted no, and now it is up for a floor vote as of today, February 12th. So by the time this video comes out, it may have already passed the House. Now, a point I want to make before we dig into this bill is that we're at the place in the legislative session in Washington state where we're coming up on what they call cutoff. And so bills will need to clear their chamber of origin in order for them to keep moving during this legislative session. So when a bill passes out of the House or the Senate, it isn't passed. It's not ready to go to the governor's desk. It has to go to the other chambers. So the bill I'm going to tell you about today is House Bill 1262. And when it passes out of the House with a floor vote all of the representatives in the House will vote on it. It will likely pass, and then it will go over to the Senate, where it will go through the same process again. It will go to committee. It will have a public hearing. It will then go to a floor vote as well. Now, sometimes bills will cross chamber and they won't move forward through that session. But because Washington operates on a biennium, this bill could get picked up, likely would get picked up again next session, and it would start back in the House to do the process all over again. So just kind of want to clarify that for you, because a lot of people hear like, oh, this bill passed out of the Senate. And so they think that the bill is done, that the bill has passed into law. And there is more to the process than that. So just want to clarify that before we dig in. Now, the bill that we're talking about today, as I mentioned, is House Bill 1261. This bill is an act relating to updating the name, authority, membership, and duties of the governor's Interagency Coordinating Council on Health Disparities. So, this bill seeks to update the name, the authority, the membership, and what was formerly known as the Governor's Interagency Coordinating Council on Health Disparities. Now, what they're doing is they're rebranding it to the Council for Health Justice and Equity. A big DEI bill. Let's take a look at some of the issues with this bill. So first of all, this bill expands the council's scope to not just include health disparities, but also to tackle issues like racism and climate change. Obviously, this bill will lead to more government bureaucracy. It is a significant expansion in membership and roles, all of which would be paid for with your taxpayer dollars. They will be focused on the administrative tasks of this council rather than services to citizens. And in a state where we're already looking at up to a $16 billion deficit, is this really the best way that the government should be spending money on more administrative services? Now, obviously, with this bill, there's also a heavy leaning on ideological solutions rather than practical solutions. Health policies should be based on science and evidence and not just broad strokes of social justice. This bill also lacks any kind of accountability for this council. So, with these broad goals of the council, how would the legislature and the citizens be able to track to see if this council is actually making any difference with the goals that it is stated to have? The bill doesn't have any clear metrics for measuring success, which could just lead to a lot of talk, a lot of busy work for intersectionality people, and giving people jobs in the government just as a means of social justice, which we see a lot of in Washington's government. So the biggest problem that I see with this bill is that they're claiming to, this is constantly an issue that we see in Washington. They're saying, here's a problem, And the solution to the problem, instead of giving the citizens in need of health services, instead of making sure that they get those services, we're going to create this council that's going to take a lot of time and money, and there's going to be a lot of talking involved. But these people over here who need the services, because there are people in Washington state, there are people all over the world, all over the country that are in need of such services. And when we do all this administrative government bureaucracy stuff, we are delaying getting the services to the people that the bill claims it is going to help. I know that by the time you're watching this video, the bill will have passed. And so you're probably thinking, well, great, what can we do about it now? Well, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, this bill, once it passes the House, will move over to the Senate and it will get a hearing. If it moves forward this session, it will get a hearing in a Senate committee, a public hearing where citizens can testify in person or online via Zoom. You can also register your position for the legislative record, which is that 30-second action step where you can sign in con, which is your way of opposing a bill. Now, one of the things that I really want to encourage people to do is sign up to testify. Any citizen can testify, and it is such a powerful way to use your voice, even if the legislature is going to pass this anyway. Talking directly to the Democrats who are making these policies and letting them know how you feel about it is so much more powerful than posting online, engaging in interactions online. That's all fine and good, but please make your voices heard directly to the people that are making these policies. And as I always say, I realize that raising our voices isn't necessarily going to change the outcome, but I refuse to stay silent when I have an opportunity to use my voice. And I hope you will do that too. So I will have linked in the description of the video a link to the bill and more information about this bill. I'll also link you over to our Legislative Action Center so you can sign up to track this bill as it moves forward, because we will definitely be pushing out a call to action when it moves into the Senate and as it moves through that process now that it is on our radar. There's like almost 3,000 bills filed in Olympia this session. So it is a very daunting task to track all of these garbage policies that are being put forward. I think just one session, it would be great if they just didn't file any new bills and just went through and repealed a bunch of the old garbage that they've passed into law already. Anyway, that's my wish list, my pipe dream that will never, ever happen. Please be sure to share this video with other concerned citizens and your network of friends who need to know about what's going on in Olympia. We are trying to do everything that we can to give average citizens just like us the information they need so that they can engage in this process and make their voice heard in government. Make sure you're also signed up for our Substack. That link is below as well. Thanks so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.